All right, I was muted. Hello, Skelevaderites, friends of Skelevator, and those of you who are just tuning in because you're interested to find out what the heck this weirdo thing is all about. I'm really excited about today's weekly weirdo. And just to let you all know, this one has been a long time coming. So let's jump right in. We've got Cobweb Collector here. Great to see you, Cobb. Fantastic to see you tuning in. All right. So today's weirdo is, well, actually, Cobb, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the thumbnail. Do you have an idea of who the weirdo might be? So there is, I did put some hints in there. Christina, good to see you. Welcome to it. Carole Geis, great to see you. Wow, so I'm excited to talk about this one. I did put a little hint in there in the thumbnail to see if anybody would guess who this weekly weirdo is. And I tried to make it. I feel like this one was more obvious than most. So I don't know if I wasn't. I guess I wasn't trying as hard to make this one more cryptic. John, figuratively speaking, great to see you here. Did any of you see the live video that I posted earlier today on a whim? I was at Walmart doing some grocery shopping this morning, and I I happened upon this guy, and I absolutely could not resist him. This is wow, what an amazing figure this is, Mr. T. Gotta love Mr. T. I love all incarnations of Mr. T. Was a huge fan of the A-Team as a kid. He was a hero of mine. Still is. Man, his positivity, his badass nature, just so cool. Yeah, I saw him there. Go watch that live stream or live video, whatever it was. I was inspired at the moment and had to do it. Yes, let's see. Radical Toys, great to see you here. Pity the Fool. That's right, Pity the Fool. And Bobby Dangerously, otherwise known as, or formerly known as Vintage Motu Bobby. Fantastic to see you here. Duchess of Darkness, great to see you here. Oh, yeah, you saw the earlier video. Cool. Good. And let's see, did I miss anybody? We've got Bobby, Cobb, Christina, Carol. All right. Got everybody. Awesome. I'm glad you're all chatting with each other too. So today's weirdo is, for those of you who watch that, I think that the definition, or it started off as like really pixelated. I think it got a little bit better as it sort of as YouTube digested the information. And I was out in the middle of nowhere too, so the Wi-Fi for the live maybe didn't work so well, but whatever. It was fun. All right. Okay. I'll get to it. I know I'm taking my time, but I'm just excited to see everybody chatting with each other over there. Listen, 'tis the season, folks. This is September is the beginning of it's my birthday month, and it's also my favorite beginning of my favorite season of the year, Halloween season. So cheers to everybody who's a big fan of that. All right, there's a lot of you in the chat now. So did anybody have any inkling as to what today's weekly weirdo would be? Have a look at the thumbnail, see if you thank you. Thanks so much. All right. Without further ado, I'm going to just jump into it because this thing, I'm going to go ahead and start off with my story here. This figure, I believe my older stepbrother at the time had one. So we're going into territory when I was very young. And this was a figure that I was fascinated by, but it's one of my first memories of noticing a significant difference between what I saw out there. I'll just say it on the screen, TV screen, movie screen, whatever, and what we got in the stores. And I remember having that feeling at a young age. I had that with Merman, and I had that with He-Man, even comparing all the characters, Filmation versus action figures. And definitely with some Star Wars figures, but this particular figure stood out to me as particularly different. Right, we've got Nolan here. Great to see you. Fantastic to see you, Nolan. We've got all right. Where are we? Oh yeah, Eldor. Great to see you. Great to see you. Hey, I'm going to be showing up on Eldor's show, on Eldor's channel, Master Versal Toy Hunter, on September 8th. So next Friday evening. I'm excited about that. And on September 7th, we're gonna have Broman show off his customs on Toy Frenzy. So I'm excited about that too. Lots of good stuff coming. All right, so the director of this film where this character premiered said that he got the name for this character when he was working on his first movie, THX 1138, and they were working late on that movie, and apparently, according to legend, they were looking for Reel 2 Dialogue 2, which became abbreviated as R2-D2. And yes, so that is the character that I have chosen for today's Weekly Weirdo, particularly the action figure. I'm going to add this to the stream here. This is a Ralph McQuarrie illustration. I love Ralph McQuarrie's preliminary artwork for Star Wars. In fact, that's my, as you've seen, I have 2 different action figures of Darth Vader based on the Ralph McQuarrie design. And as it evolved into R2-D2, I love like this sort of the basic sketches of what this figure could have looked like, and then what it became was this beautiful character, and has since appeared in every Star Wars film. Cobweb, that's okay. I'll definitely tune in and watch the rest later. Be careful driving out there. So this figure, though, I noticed right away that it was different from the film, and I spent most of my adult life sort of half looking for a first wave R2-D2 action figure, and being the sort of obsessive person that I am, I wanted to make sure that the sticker was intact, and I didn't want it to be a replica sticker. And not too long ago, and usually these are really expensive. R2-D2 in really good shape is very expensive. Listen to this. I love this sound. Can you hear that? This guy is usually very pricey, and it pays to be, or it pays, we pay, I guess, but it pays to be patient on eBay. Those of you who collect toys know this. It took me a while to finally get an R2-D2 action figure that was in good shape. And I've had several versions of R2-D2 in the past. I've had the Black Series. I had the Black Series version that came out with Empire Strikes Back. I eventually traded it for other stuff. It was part of one of my batches to trade over at the Vault in earlier videos, if you've watched those. Um, and But nothing compares, in my opinion, nothing compares to the unique quality of the first R2-D2. The sticker, what an easy fix to all those details. Just put the sticker on the body and it's done, right? You've got all the details. But the head sculpt is, I love the vac metal silver chrome dome on this R2-D2. I would just stare at it as a kid. Uh, and my stepbrothers, and I love the sound of the head turning. And yes, and I know Bobby and I feel the same way. The vintage figures are the best. It's hard for me to know. So those of you that have kids, if you've ever taken them to Disneyland, or if you've ever taken them to look on toy hunts with you, you look at you say, here's what the new figure looks like, here's what the vintage figure looks like, what do you think? And I don't know, I feel like it's hard to appreciate this if you didn't grow up with it. One of the exciting things is that on the new Ahsoka series, I watched the first episode. I'm a little on the fence with it. That's just because I never really watched the Clone Wars or the cartoons on that they put out, and so I don't really know the whole Ahsoka story very well, as I'm kind of a original trilogy purist. But I enjoyed it, and I'll enjoy anything Star Wars. I'll find a way to enjoy it. But there was an R2 unit in the very, within the first, I think, 15 minutes of that first episode, that is definitely an homage to the action figure version of R2-D2, which I thought was lovely. Little things like that make me really happy. So the weirdo today is R2-D2, and sometimes I have multiple versions of action figures to show you with a particular character. First, I want to say hello to Thanos. Great to see you, Thanos. Welcome to it. But for this one, I've since sort of sloughed off any other versions of this character, and I've finally, just in the last year, in 2023, I was able to acquire one of these for very affordable price on eBay. Like, almost embarrassing. I thought, you ever feel like you run across an eBay listing that doesn't look like anyone else has noticed it? I felt really lucky. With this. John is saying, that's why I really like what's going on with Origins and Masterverse with some of the new figures that are introduced to the line. Yeah. I agree with you, John. One of the things that, a lot of folks might disagree with me on this. Oh, and thanks, Duchess. Yeah, it does look great. This guy looks fantastic. One of the, some folks might argue that, detail and articulation and masterful sculpting is really like the epitome of what makes a toy the best version of itself. And sometimes that's true, like with original characters coming out now, especially like, Mythic Legions and Cosmic Legions. Those figures are fantastic, and they're beautiful, and they're new to themselves. So coming out, and they're highly articulated and beautifully made, is awesome. If there was like a vintage version of, I believe the character's name is Slog. I think if there was a vintage version of Slog, the Cosmic Legions character that I love, I think I would be interested to, I might prefer it. That's just sort of my own aesthetic, my own nature. Um, Ray, great to see you. Fantastic to see you. I love the little Groucho Marx emoji there. Fantastic. Um, and so yeah. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I've this is my R2. This is the R2 in my collection. This one goes right up here in my vintage Star Wars section of my case behind me, and it's this is like a grail. This was a grail piece for me when I found it. Same thing with that Rancor. Finding a Rancor in good shape, and the Wampa too. We'll get to all of those. There's something special about them. They don't look quite right, but they look perfect. If you know what I mean. It's like it's a very, very wonderful thing. But yes, that's why the Origins, John. To get back to what you were saying, that's why the Origins figures are so special, in my opinion. They are based on the vintage figures. They carry with them the wonkiness that the vintage figures had, with just added articulation. And I know that they've re-released this, and I haven't seen one in person. I've seen some toy reviews. They've re-released this recently. One of the I've purchased some of those retro collection Star Wars figures because some of these things are really hard to find. So and hard to find in good condition. So for instance, the back here, the Jedi Luke, I mean, finding him with his cloak and with his saber and his weapon, it's very difficult at a reasonable price to get him. So I thought it was more affordable to get him in the newer version of, which pays homage. They're basically using the same molds, I think. So I was very tempted to get the retro collection version of this. But then I found this, and he came with the pack, like a 5-pack, and C-3PO and R2-D2. It would be great to have my C-3PO back here. He's got very loose legs, but his vac metal's pretty good condition, but he's worn. He's definitely been played with. It would be cool to get a newer version of C-3PO, just to compare them. So. I love that this is a place where people can come and just chat with each other. That's great. While I just yammer on about my stuff. So, folks, thanks so much for being here and tuning in for today's weekly weirdo. Today is a sentimental. They're always a sentimental episode. This one in particular, the story of my relationship with this figure is such that it's you all who collect toys, what this is like. Something gets stuck in your brain, and it's almost like a song, like an earworm. It gets stuck in your brain, and you can't quite let it go. And when you're finally able to get it, or to, like, let's say you just recently I heard a song by Yaz, or more commonly known now as Yazoo, on a commercial not too long ago. And I was like, I love that song. I haven't heard that song in ages. I'm hearing it on the commercial. Then I'm trying to figure out who wrote it. And then when you find out, it's like, yes, that's a triumphant feeling. And so this is sort of a version of that. Finally able to get my hands on this, to hold it. So like last week's episode with Bobby, if you're still here, last week's episode, looking at those Dungeons and Dragons figures, those, for example, I've always coveted them, but have never actually held them. So that's a slightly different experience. Gosh, I love our varied experiences as collectors and as enthusiastic obsessives. John, when you put something in your collection, it's a source of memories. Yeah, I can always look at that case, the Star Wars case, and have very particular memories just sort of arrive suddenly, and it's wonderful. It's like putting a little floppy disk in my brain and accessing those memories. Thank you, Nolan, for being here, and Bobby, you have a great weekend too. We've got 2 more days of this Labor Day weekend. Hopefully all of you who have who have jobs are able to enjoy your Labor Day. Enjoy that day off. Be safe. Oh, we got Largo's Lair tuning in here. I'm about to head out. I'm about to close up shop, Largo, but thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you popping in. Yeah, thank you all so much for showing up. It's as always, it's such a it's really such a blessing to have you all here and have you interested in what I have to say. Enjoy your weekend. Go to an antique store, look for some weird stuff, listen to the Melvins, be safe, enjoy each other, and yeah, thank you. Nice to see you too. Yeah, and have a wonderful weekend and have a wonderful day off if you have it. And what else? I think that's it. I think that's it. You're all great. I will say this again. I should say this just a quick reminder. On the 7th, we are having on Toy Frenzy. We're having Broman show up, and we're going to talk about his process of making his customs. I mean, his customs are legendary. We've been talking about Broman on Toy Frenzy from the beginning. His stuff's amazing and unique, and it's really a unique take on customizations. So we're gonna have fun talking about that with him on Thursday, and then on Friday, I'm going to be showing up on Masterversal Toy Hunter Eldor's channel and chatting with him about the creative process. So we're a lot of stuff to look forward to. Hey, we got Eric here. Great to see you. Yes, happy Labor Day weekend, everybody. Check out your Walmarts. You might run across a Mr. T. This guy was they had one full set of the new wave, right? So they had all the guys, but there's only one of each. So if they are showing up your Walmarts, there's a good chance there might just be one Mr. T out there. I hope that whoever's looking for a Mr. T or looking for the Rock or any of the other characters in that wave, best of luck to you. I just wanted this guy. Just like I just wanted this R2-D2. Yeah, a thing of beauty, this thing. A real artifact. Gorgeous. All right, before I get too emotional, thank you all for being here. Have a great rest of your weekend.